Occultic 9, Book 1, Prologue, March 1st, Tuesday. Leafless trees shook and shuddered, battered by the wind coming down from above. Several helicopters circled in the sky, the rotors loudly beating against the air. The motors of heavy equipment groaned. Dozens of men yelled to each other as they dredged the lake. In the distance there were ambulance sirens. It all overlapped into a giant and noxious wall of sound. All the noise was coming from Inokashira Park. No, the whole town of Kichijoji had been noisy and on edge today. There was a strange sense of excitement and impression that you could see on the faces of people on the streets. Inokashira Park was normally a place for locals to relax, but now it was blocked off by police tape and torn apart by construction equipment. A power shovel was parked as close as it could possibly get to the lake, its arm sticking into the water. There were dozens of men around it, all wearing work clothes. The lake itself was filled with men on rubber boats, dredging the water. Even people who had lived there for years had not seen anything like this. Every year about this time, the city of Mushishino would dredge up all the trash from Inokashira Lake. But this year was different. The backhoe slowly raised its scoop from the water steps. It pulled up what looked like lumpy bags of garbage and added them to the pile forming around the lake. Inokashira Lake was ringed with a mountain of garbage. There was far more garbage than usual this year. It was garbage thrown out by a small number of arrogant, ill-mannered men. Garbage created by the unethical and selfish. Sad garbage. The garbage of society. Garbage. 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 But it wasn't just garbage. It was dead bodies. Site 01, Yuta Gaman. February 11th, Thursday. Quote, "Can you see something that looks like a face? Then it's a ghost picture." End quote, from Modern Entertainment. A photo uploaded by a certain Twitter user had the whole internet in an uproar. It was a photo taken somewhere in the city, and get this, they say it's a ghost photo. The photographer himself noticed a few days after he'd taken the photo that indeed, it was possible to see a male face contorted in pain in the grass behind him. Tweet by Neat God. A male face, LOLOLOL. Contorted in pain, LOLOL. You see something that looks like a face and you figure it's gotta be a ghost. Right, got it. You know, how come ghosts always just show their faces? Why don't they ever just show up stark naked? How come it's never some hot ghost slut with huge tits, spread legs, and a no-face with a double peace sign? Anybody got ghost photos like that? LOL. If you do, I'm ready to start believing. LOLOL. Okay, barristers, rip it apart. Oh, or if there's any self-proclaimed spiritualist out there, your expert opinion is always welcome. LOL. Reply 1. I've seen this photo. It's famous. Oh, and first. Reply 2. Yeah, that sure looks like a face, I guess. And 2chan says the guy who took the picture still feels all heavy and he's getting chills and stuff. Can't these people ever come up with anything new? Somebody tell him how to do an exorcism. I'm half serious. Reply 3. The hell is this? Scary. This is way more than just a coincidence. Reply 4. Admin, you're shit and this is old news. People were talking about this 2 months ago, dumbass. Reply 6. That's true. There are some where you can still see the faces though. Reply 8. What are the odds that it's photoshopped? Reply 10. Mulder, you're tired. Reply 13. I lolled. Reply 20. I know this place. It's where a killer murdered someone and chopped their body into tiny little pieces. I don't want to say where exactly, so I'll block out some of the letters. INOKA blank blank IRA Park. Reply 23. INOKA blank blank IRA Park? LOL. Who the hell do you think you're fooling? Reply 28. You mean you cracked my brilliant code? Reply 30. Oh shit, that's right next door. Reply 35. So what, the photo's real then? If it's real, that's scary as fuck. Tell me, Neat God. Reply 37. This is Kirikiri Basur, right? 38. Of course it's not real, lol. Any moron with a computer can make a ghost photo these days. How dumb do you have to be to get scared of this? Reply 40. Right. There's no such thing as ghosts. Somebody make the scary go away. My fingers came down hard on the laptop's keyboard. I couldn't get my thoughts out fast enough. It was aggravating that I couldn't type faster. There were so many thoughts I wanted to get out there. Why did it have to take so much work? Life is hard. You know what an affiliate blog is, right? There's no better profession there for my neat friends. Basically, the more people you blog, the more hits you get. And the more people who click on your affiliate links, the more money you earn. Oops, I was speaking out loud when I typed. Well, nothing wrong with that. It's the American dream, I guess you could say. Oh, you can Google the forms you need to sign up for an affiliate program. It's easy enough. so I'll skip the explanation here. Sorry, but it's simple enough that your average salaryman or housewife can do it as a second job. I was on Twitter. There were a ton of eggs on there who loved to give me a hard time, and the vast majority were idiots who would always take things out of context. My name is Neat God, and I run a site called Paranormal Science Kirikiri Basara, where I find interesting articles on news sites and individual blogs, then summarize them on my new, unique, cool, and classy way. Right now I was politely explaining to these idiots how the blog I ran worked. But there's really a trick to how you pick your articles, and unfortunately 2chan doesn't let you reproduce stuff from the site, so you can't take anything from there. From the perspective of me and the other aggregate site owners, the founder of 2chan, Hiroki, had a pretty annoying policy. I wanted to ride the big wave too. I found myself getting a little irritated, so I took a big drink of water to calm down. The ice in the glass had almost melted and a single drop fell into my pants and left a mark. The heater was running, so in the winter, cold water felt good. Basically, I'm a second-year NEET student in high school who wants to up his affiliate income and get rich, like others have done before me. But I'm not making enough money for you to be jealous over. I'm making so little that I want to kill myself. Maybe I was an idiot for picking a site like this just because the cold stuff has been popular lately. There are so many other copycat sites like mine that my hit count is basically frozen. And then, even my followers who weren't eggs started to chime in. Most of their comments were along the lines of, "People who try to make pocket change off affiliate links should be taken out into the street and shot." And, "Don't worry, I'm never clicking on anything on your site." I was getting really tired of that. What was so wrong about trying to make money off affiliate links? It wasn't like it was illegal or anything. These guys were just jealous because they couldn't make a good site. But if I said that, it would only add fuel to the flame war, so I didn't. People on the internet got mad whenever you were right and they weren't. If starting a flame war was a good way to up my affiliate income, I wouldn't mind, but honestly, it wasn't. Oh, but my top priority is always providing my barristers with top quality content. I look forward to seeing you guys rip off some quality stuff. And that is how I decided to end it. Of course, what I, Yuta Gaman, was actually trying to say was, visit my site more and buy more stuff from my affiliate links. Man, I couldn't wait until I made enough off these affiliate links to survive. These days, only losers had real jobs. That is how I planned to end it anyway, but then the eggs refused to shut up. Creepier talker virgins like you who refuse to get jobs don't even have the right to read, let alone walk around it outside. I'll cop to being a no-talker of a virgin, but I'm not creepy. If I try to blend in, my looks are above average. At least that's what I think. I had no intentions of saying I was a good-looking guy, but I was more attractive than your average NEET. At least, that's what I wanted to believe. I heard a loud, instantly recognizable laugh from behind me. A solidly well-muscled man stood behind the counter trolling. Ooh, you know, Komoda, you might have above-average looks, but they go to waste when you bury your face in a duffel coat and mumble to yourself, you know. Grr. I couldn't let myself talk back to him. He was the owner of this cafe, and if I ticked him off, I might as well lose my base of operations. The name of this place is Cafe Blue Moon. To get there, you'd go out north side of Kichijoji Station, take the street behind the Yodobashi store, then walk past a bunch of love hotels. It was only a 5-minute walk from the station, but it still had the feeling of a secret hideout. At night it was a bar, but during the day it was a cafe. The place had an exotic, oriental atmosphere due to all the items around the cafe that the owner had personally purchased on his travels around the world. Of course, an exotic, oriental atmosphere sounded good in theory, but none of the tables and chairs matched at all, and it was a little bewildering to look at. Rococo-style chairs were lined up next to the ones that were made from wicker, and there was a little Japanese-style room filled with cushions shaped like chocolate pies. What is he going for with all this? But there were 2 reasons I liked this place. First, the students almost never came here, and second, it had a grown-up atmosphere. Also, you could sit here for hours without ordering anything but water, and he wouldn't get mad or kick you out. That was nice too. I leaned back in the wicker sofa and then turned around to the order and raised my glass. Master Izumin, may I have some more water? Oh geez, you're working me to the bone, honey. His real name was Kohai Izumi, and he was 43 years old. His nickname was Izumin. That's what he told me to call him. His high-pitched, effeminate manner of speaking, his soft bearing, and the fact that he always wore makeup might lead you to make certain assumptions, but according to him, none of those were true. He mumbled some complaints to himself as he poured me a new glass of water. I took it and turned back to my laptop. Wait, Gamoda, shouldn't you be at school? There's no school today. Oh, is it? Oh dear, oh my stars. I've lost track of what day it is. My school, semi-high, was about 20 minutes on foot. For what it's worth, that was also the same distance to my house. In other words, Kichijoji was my hometown, and on my days off, instead of staying at home, I always went outside to avoid living the traditional NEET lifestyle. I was more of an active NEET. You know, Gamoda, I saw that Kirikiri barter site or whatever it's called, and I have to say, if you keep making fun of ghosts, you're going to regret it. The occult is real, and don't come running to little old Izumin when you need somebody to save you, 'cause I won't. I laugh at your curses. I loll at them. There are no such things as ghosts. I didn't believe in the occult at all. That was Kirikiri Basara's official stance. Of course, in a horror movie, whoever said that was the first to die. You know, Master Izumin, Kirikiri Basara isn't just your typical aggregate site. It's a site where we take all the world's occult phenomenon and go, ha ha, I'll prove you wrong. The name had come from the words Kiri, or cut, and Basara, which meant to hold back. It's just a silly name I made up one day when I got mad at something, and I don't regret it. The barristers who commented on my site were more brutal about the stuff than I was, after all. I actually think I was pretty lucky to come up with it. Of course, as an individual, I wasn't sure how I thought about that. It put me in a bad position as site admin, after all, but whenever one of the barristers commented, it always meant a lot of hits. Since my goal was to make a living off my affiliate links, I couldn't chase them out. The door opened and a girl I instantly came spinning in like a ballet dancer. Gamatan, goes ribbit like a frog. I do not. Her steps were beautiful and fluid, even if her song was out of tune. She hopped a few times, spun around, and swayed. There was no logic to her movement. She was in a thrall to the impulses that came deep within her. And damned if her boobs were bouncing, her gigantic watermelon-sized boobs. Gamatan! Yes! I wanted to make a video and watch it every night before bed, but I didn't bother making anything about her weird dance, opting instead to pump my fists in joy when no one could see it. But damn, if I watched any more, I was going to get a nosebleed. Stop, okay, stop dancing. I turned around to the dancing boob angel, clapping my hands and shouting, like a choreographer on one of those reality TV shows. Poya poya? Don't say poya poya, Ryatsu. Ryatsu is what I call her. More precisely, Wayatsu is what she called herself, and I simply took it from her. Of course, it was just a nickname. Her real name was Ryoka Narasawa. She was younger than me, and she went to Seimei High, just like I did. She was one of my few friends in the real world, and I helped as an employee of Kirikiri Basara. I considered myself extremely lucky to have friends with a younger girl like her. At school, I was a weirdo and wasn't part of anybody's social group, and online, I was so disliked I got mocked by eggs on Twitter. But that didn't matter, did it? Just because the fact that Ryatsu was here made me far superior to my classmates who spent all their time in school clubs, while the unemployed 30-somethings who spent all their time on the internet all day. I was practically normal. In other words, Ryatsu's role in the party was to give me a major status buff. She was cute, she had huge tits, and, you know, your real job isn't dancing, it's working for Kirikiri Basara. Help me deal with these stupid eggs. Cockle-doodle-doo, if you want an egg, go get a hen. If you want a meal, go to a rooster. Cockle-doodle-doo. And she was a little odd. When she finished her song, she spun around toward Master Izumin and took a bow. The wonderful show had come to an end. Ryatsu did whatever Ryatsu wanted. There were times when she would just burst into song for no other reason than that what she felt like it. What she was doing a moment ago, or what she might be doing a moment later, didn't matter in the slightest. Ryatsu spun around much more to face me and then leaned, her face in close. It was so close I almost flinched back. You know the whole point of Kirikiri Basara is to make you rich, right, Gamatan? But I don't get any money, right? She stared straight into my eyes. She was staring too deeply. I was going to fall in love. Okay, when I get the money from the affiliate links, I'll buy you some Sudadon. I recommend the soy garlic flavor. Oh, so would you prefer salt and garlic? That was my way of paying her. A bowl of Sudadon was a cheap price to pay. I wonder if they'd have any yogurt from Woodberries. Woodberries? It's a frozen yogurt shop near the station. I'd lived in Kichijoji for years, but I'd never gone to any fancy places like that. I deliberately avoided them, in fact. Alright, that works. Yay! I'll do my best then. Ryatsu leapt up to express her joy. I couldn't stop my eyes from feeling the bouncing breaths in front of me. Up, then down, then up again. An infinite loop. Amazing. Huh? What is? Never change. Aye, aye, sir. Ryatsu raised her right hand, smiled, and saluted. You know, Ryatsu always wore more clothes that emphasized her chest. I loved it. Those were total boob bags. I thought those things only existed in H games. Not that I'd ever play one. And then there was another interruption from the counter. Gama-tan, you're staring. Hey, you're a much bigger pervert than I am, Master Izumin. Yep, that's right, Ryatsu agreed. I was happy she understood. What do you mean that's right? Why, Ryatsu? How could you agree with him? Poya. Ryatsu crossed her arms, lowered her chest, and tilted her head, making a pose like she was thinking. Poya was probably another one of her meaningless phrases. She had different phrases that she used depending on her situation and mood. I would have preferred to speak in Japanese, but that was still cute. Everything about Ryatsu was cute, and since she was cute, it was okay. Ryatsu sat down next to me, still maintaining her thinking pose. She was looking up at the ceiling, or so I thought, until I felt a toy ray gun poking me in the ribs. The Poya gun, as she called it. Hey, Samurai Gamasake! Who the hell is Samurai Gamasake? No one had ever called me that in my life. And anyway, her face was way too close. She was asking for a kiss. She had to be. Ryatsu was in love with me, but her face was way too close. Ryatsu? Poya? You're too close. Poya? Distance-wise. Poya. I didn't know what she was saying, but she seemed to understand me and backed away a little. The ray gun was still poking me in the ribs, though. Hey, when do I get my frozen yogurt? Well, once I get the affiliate money in, I guess. I decided to look and see when that would be. Today's view count is, yeah! Some famous affiliate blogs got hundreds and thousands of hits each day. Compared to that, my numbers made me want to jump off a bridge. Monthly view count is, ah! That number was just as bad. Unless I did something about these numbers, I could possibly make a heck of a lot more money working at a frozen yogurt place. I guess the real money's in porn. But wait, God controls all things. Someday occult sites shall surpass erotic sites. God is here, him, this time after all. Ryatsu put her hands together in prayer and wriggled and contorted her body. As I watched her shake her body out of the corner of my eye, I slammed down my finger on the F5 key. Hitting the button 16 times isn't going to change my view numbers, though. The numbers weren't exactly zero, but some months the deposit fees ate up my money. I had a long way to go to achieve my goal of being an independent NEET. Our views aren't going up very fast, so we've got a long way to go before all-you-can-eat frozen yogurt, Ryatsu. I see! Ryatsu looked depressed. My yogurt! I felt bad, but there wasn't anything I could do about it, so I decided to ignore her. I checked the blog. There are more comments now. Wait, is it him again? That's right, his name is Sarai! Sarai! Yes. Sarai was a regular commenter on Kirikiri Basara, and the smartest one we had. To be honest, most of the debunking work on the site was done by him. He was someone I could count on. In fact, whenever Sarai showed up and commented, the view count would go up a little as people came to read it. So while I felt grateful as the owner of the site, I did feel a little jealous I wasn't the star of my own show. Male pride was a complicated thing. Oh, oops, I'm getting emotional. I read through Sarai's comment with the usual mixture of dread and anticipation. The page was filled with one of his usual long comments. This photo is an example of a simulacrum. I can say without the slightest doubt that this is not a spirit photograph. And what's more, most so-called spirit photographs can easily be explained by the simulacrum phenomenon, which is also known as the Prologue effect. TLDR. Wow, Sarai is always so amazing, huh? Huh? Ryatsu's eyes were wide as amazement as she read through Sarai's debunking. I know you had to look over the screen, but Ryatsu, your face is really close, I thought. And your boobs, they're touching me, and I can't focus on what Sarai is saying. If you were to make a pie chart of all the thoughts in my head at that moment, it would have been 3% happiness that my views had gone up, 6% annoyance that Sarai was stealing my thunder, which the remaining 91% of me going, Ryatsu, you're so close to me again. I was so excited I almost forgot about the site. Oh, go it! Matan has a naughty look on his face. Ryatsu suddenly said, Huh? What do you mean? A naughty look? I do not. Naughty going, Mon's like, go, shoot! Ryatsu pointed the ray gun in her hand at me and pulled the trigger. I felt a sharp pain and numbness run through my whole body. Ow, 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 ow. When you're hit with a PYG, at least that's what I call a Poyaya gun, you felt a stinging sensation like an electrostims treatment. It didn't shoot rays, but I was sure it shot some kind of electromagnetic pulse. Wait, stop! PYG, no! Shoot! I had no idea what that meant, but Ryatsu sure was excited. She still kept shooting even after I fell on my chair and started writhing on the ground. Maybe she was actually a huge sadist. Ow! That hurts! Fine, I'll stop imagining naughty things. Satisfied, Ryatsu finally put away her gun. Gah! Ha! Ha! Huh. What a jackass girl like Ryatsu, a semi-deadly weapon. It was her fault for always getting right up in my face anyway. What gave her the right to shoot me just because I looked like I enjoyed it? Not that I wanted her to stop. Ah, it's good to see you two kids flirting like that. Matsu Izumin had a creepy grin on his face and teased me. But it didn't bother me. I bet any other guy would kill to get a chance to play with Ryatsu like this. I sat back in my chair, feeling like a winner. Sarai's comment was still displayed on the screen. I glanced through the rest of it. The simulacrum phenomenon is one of the brain and eye's most basic functions. When the eye sees dots or lines are arranged in a triangular shape, the brain interprets them as a face. This is an animal instinct that every person is born with. Since there are several such dots and lines in this photograph, it's even easier for the brain to interpret them as faces. However, if you look at each portion individually, you'll see that they're all tricks of the light and or part of the background. I'm convinced, but I hate to admit it, but I'm convinced, somebody else replied. I looked away from the monitor and rubbed my eyes again. Sarai's comments were so complicated that I always felt like reading them. You can tell by the way that he writes and thinks that he's smarter than everyone else, you know. I bet he thinks that everyone in the world but him is stupid. If he's this smart, he's got a girlfriend and he's totally hot. I'll never forgive him. Ever. Ryatsu suddenly looked off in the distance when she heard my profiling. I feel bad for poor Sarai. You feel bad for him? What did that mean? My heart almost stopped for a second there. Ryatsu, you know Sarai? Sure do. I always read his comments on Kira Basara. Not all the way through, though. No, I mean, you know who he is in real life? I don't know him in real life. Oh, okay. So it's just her imagination then. Still, poor Sarai, huh? I had no idea where she was getting that from his comments. I didn't see any comments from Sarai yet. In the new articles, there was always a big lag between when I'd post a new article and when he'd comment on it. He was probably spending a lot of time doing research, like a typical nerd. I put up 3 new articles on Kira Basara today. Man live streams one man hide and seek, never comes back. The curse of Kirkari Sand is seriously terrifying. And, is it true that a girl once lived with a mummy? I'd uploaded all of them since I'd come to the cafe this morning. Since all of 3 of them had supposedly occurred in Kichijoji, I'd taken to calling them the Kichijoji trilogy. They'd been up for hours, but Sarai would definitely wait and until tomorrow to comment. Aside from Sarai, how many other people had commented by now? I decided to take a look. Title: Man livestream one man hide and seek never comes back, from JCast News. There was a certain video on Nico Nico that was attracting a lot of attention. It's a livestream of a man performing a ritual called One Man Hide and Seek as described in Urban Legends. Get this, there's a rumor that after the broadcast the streamer vanished. The video is supposedly 3 hours in length and consists nothing but footage of a doll sitting in the streamer's room. Nothing special seems to happen, but after the upload, the streamer, who had reportedly been treating 100+ times a day, stopped treating altogether, and a woman believed to be the man's sister wrote on her blog that her brother had suddenly vanished. Upon noticing this, one of the streamer's followers contacted the Musashino area police, who confirmed that a missing person report had been filed for him. Post by Nikot. The whole thing sounds like a setup to me, lol. And what's more, JCast just ripped this whole thing off 2chan. And what's with all these live streams and one man hide and seek anyways? There's like a billion of these things. What's that? Explain one man hide and seek? LMGTFY, jackass. Okay, bear sitters, rip it apart. Response 1. First post, bitches! Response 2. Snake, what's wrong? Snake! Snake! Response 4. We don't even know for sure that the guy has a missing person report. Is this the same guy as the streamer? Where do people even get this shit? LOL. Reply 7. 2chan figured out that the guy lived in Kichijoji, which is in Musashino. After they saw a missing person report in the newspaper for a guy in Musashino, then it hit the news sites. Reply 18. You guys honestly don't think this is real, right? Dude's probably just trying to run from some bad debts or something. Response 32. Neat God, stop putting up these crappy articles all the time. Response 37. But from the photos I saw, he put some real effort into the setting up. It was obvious he was pretty serious about doing the live stream. Response 41. Affiliate, 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 affiliate. Response 43. Man, this stuff was old news ages ago. Who gives a crap about solo hide and seek these days, neat God? God, get with the times, damn it. Response 47. It's okay to trip. It's okay to fall. It's okay to play hide and seek. That's what it means to be human. By Mitsuro. Response 53. If the guy who went missing in Musashino is the guy from the solo hide and seek video, wouldn't this be bigger news? Response 59. No way is the news gonna talk about this stuff. Since when does mainstream media ever cover anything in cult? Response 72. I laughed when I found out that there were many variants for the rules from one-man hide and seek as there are for the rules of poker. Post title. The curse of Kokiri-san is seriously terrifying. From Twitter. @ShimizuBBA. I heard from someone in my club that 4 girls from the third-year class were playing Kokiri-san, and one of them took her finger off the board. She ended up going crazy and they had to take her into the hospital. There was an ambulance at school sometime during the fall. So that's what it was? Scary. Add on by Neat God. The source is Twitter, home of the stupidest people on the internet. Okay, Bersiters, rip it apart. Reply 9. Kokuri-san is the Japanese Ouija board. It scares the hell out of me. Reply 12. Obvious BS, lol. But I like this stuff about a Kochiji high school girl, so feel free to keep going. Response 13. Kakuri-san equals ko, fox, ku, dog, riot, raccoon. Response 20. My grandmother caught me playing Kakuri-san once and started screaming at me. She told me to never, ever play it. She's dead now, though. Response 21. Why are all these articles from Kichijoji, lol? Is that the place cursed or something? This place is turning into a local newspaper. Reply 24. She's currently locked into her psych ward and not letting her receive visitors. Source. A friend who goes to the same school. Reply 34. You're obviously Neat God using an alt. If you're fooling nobody, you don't need to make up crap to try to make this more exciting. LOL. Response 39. Don't you use a 5 PCN to play Kokuri-san in the age of digital currency? I bet these ghosts are bored off their asses. Reply 42. Just use your Suica card that you use for the trains. Reply 46. I bet it makes that ding noise whenever it stops over a certain letter. Reply 48. Stop it. You'll open the automatic turnstile to the spirit world. LOL. Reply 51. More like cock curry-san. I know what you mean, and I think you do. Reply 53. I looked up how the hell stuff like Kokuri-san and Ouija boards actually work, and it's kind of like a group hypnosis. Maybe it really is that scary. Post-hypnotic suggestions and mind control are real after all. Reply 57. I don't believe in hypnosis and mind control. Anyway, I'm sure it'll work on me. LOL. Post title. Is it true that a girl once lived with a mummy? From the Tokyo Urban Legends blog. Did you know that there's a huge mansion that's been unoccupied for years in the corner of the Kochichi residential district? Several years ago, a mummified corpse was found there. The TV shows all over it. It seemed the body belonged to a resident of the mansion who died from an illness. But there's actually a terrifying rumor surrounding the incident. There was another person who was living with a mummy in the mansion, a girl who was only 14 or 15 years old. Add on by Nikon. A lolly who lives with a mummy, lol. It sounds like an H game. When's the movie version coming? Okay, Bersiters, rip it apart. Reply 1. Frost Prist! Reply 3. http://www.lovedededeanews.com/archive13/. Reply 5. So the mummy was banging the girl, right? Reply 6. For the first time in my life, I want to be a mummy. Reply 7. Let's go to the sea, brother. You love the sea, right? Reply 10. That's right. You put the dried mummy in the sea and it puffs up and it goes back to being a person. Wait, that's dried seaweed. Reply 12. Guys, you're missing the most important part. They found a mummy in some family's house and the girl was hiding it from the cops. And the body had gone missing from a hospital after the guy died there. That's crime. Reply 16. You've got me there. I bet the hospital is trying to keep it under wraps. Reply 21. Mummy is a bad way to put it. Mummified body is better. Reply 24. I bet he was just lonely and wanted his mummy. Haha, get it? Reply 27. If you got a thing for bandaged chicks, you'll love mummies. Reply 31. I thought only mummy had bandages in anime. Reply 35. I'm pretty sure that some Egyptian mummies had bandages and some don't. Reply 42. So who took the body from the house and why? Is there a source somewhere? Gah, I hate to say it, but without that nerd Sarai, the rest of them are morons. I softly closed the lid of my laptop and let out a long sigh. I'm feeling extremely tired all of a sudden. Let's go get some food. I've been working all day and I'm starving. Working? You? That's right. I'm the site admin. Ryatsu tilted her head in confusion and she checked the time on her cuckoo clock on the wall. The little hand was past the 4. You didn't eat lunch? I didn't eat lunch and I didn't eat breakfast either. Mom had been out working and wasn't sure when I woke up again. My mom's job didn't really give her days off. Ooh, but you didn't really eat a lot, do you, Gamoda? Are you just one of those boys who doesn't eat? I could hear Master Izumin's sarcastic voice from behind the counter. I activate my ignore skill to completely shut out the sound of his voice. Gaviton, if you only eat one meal a day, you'll get all fat like a sumo wrestler. Plumpy and dumpy. Neats are super thin or super fat. I'm the former, so I'll be fine. I see. Ryatsu brought her face up so close that I thought she might be trying to headbutt me. Her eyes were shining as she looked in mine. You're too close. What was so interesting what I just said anyway? I didn't understand why Ryatsu found that impressive. It was just a mystery. I waited, but Ryatsu refused to move her face away, so I looked down awkwardly. I saw my bag near my feet. Strictly speaking, it wasn't a bag. It was a laptop case with a built-in short strap. I made it myself. My Zonko strap from MMM, Master Must Murder, shook as I lifted it up and put it on my lap. Yep, pretty cute. Inside the case was my BCL, broadcast listener radio, which I always kept with me. This was a powerful radio that let me listen in on international shortwave broadcasts. It was a model called a Sky Sensor. I didn't come up with that. I would have come up with a less geeky name. But that was just the name of the product. Dad had given it to me when he was still alive. It was quite an antique since it was manufactured in 1975. But I thought it had a sleek modern design that didn't really look old at all. You didn't have to be a radio hobbyist to love the design. Any kid would love it. In fact, it had been popular with both kids and adults, and I felt like I knew why. Its body was the size of a large bento box and heavy. Its main tuning dial and band spread dials were big and sturdy, like the dial on a safe at a bank. The frequency panel had the numbers carved into it. There were switches to move between AM and FM, and to turn the device on and off. It was fun just to play with the dials and switches, even if you weren't actually doing anything. Ryatsu was looking at me as I moved my hands. She was close. I could almost feel her breath. I turned on the power switch. White noise came out of the speaker. Bzz, bzz. Just listening to the sound of the white noise made me feel nostalgic and kind of special. I spun the dial at random. Don't look at the save settings. Don't rely on your ears either. Just feel it with your hands. That's what Dad taught me, I think. The sound coming out of the speakers was constantly changing, and you could actually feel it in the tip of your fingers as you touched the dials. That was one of the unique things about radios that use gears instead of threading to connect the dials on the outside to the rest of the machine. I had been raised, for the most part, by my mom in a single-parent household. My dad had died from an illness 7 years ago. He was a radio DJ, not a famous one. He had a mini FM radio station in Kichijoji, and he had a day job where he was just a normal salaryman. He started the mini FM station as a hobby. The station was just something he'd done on his own, and he didn't even have anything you could call programs. It was mostly unimportant local information like local news and the specials the local restaurants were running. But he would tell me with pride that his music for Kichijoji's show was actually kind of popular. And so I'd taken after my dad in an age where every other kid on the internet I'd gotten on to radio. The sky sensor my dad had given me was my treasure. I remember when I used to sit right outside his broadcast and listen to it. I was the only regular listener he had. I could hear his voice come out of the speaker a moment after he spoke. I always sat just close enough that if I listened carefully, I could hear his actual voice. It made me feel special, like I had my own seat to the show that no one else had. If I ever die, I'm going to turn into a ghost DJ and use my radio to say, "Yuta, come out and play," from the spirit world. Remember that. Make sure you keep tuning in and listening. Dad used to always say that when he was alive. When I was a kid, it scared me, but I believed him. I never thought I'd see the day when he actually died, though. When he died, I kept searching for his voice, but a week passed, and then a month, and then a year. I never found it. And then I finally understood. The reason Dad never spoke to me from beyond the radio was because in this world, there are no such thing as ghosts. So then why was I still carrying this thing around with me all these years later? "I'm hungry. Let's have some Sudadon today," I said. "You mean like every day?" Ryatsu asked. "Garlic soy Sudadon with extra meat is the greatest thing in the world. If you eat nothing but meat, you won't get enough nutrients, you know." "There's nutrients in meat." "Poya? In the nursery household, if you don't eat a balanced diet, they get mad at you, buh." Ryatsu puffed out her cheeks like a chipmunk. She was way too old to be doing that. But it was cute, so I'd allow it. From a boy's perspective, it didn't matter if she truly meant it or if she was just putting on an act. I put the sky sensor in my laptop in a case and then stood up. "Master Izumin, put the bill on my tab," I said. Though there wasn't going to be a bill or a tab, since there was only water from the faucet. I left the cafe and went down to the station to get my Sudadon to go, and then sat down on the bench in Kichijoji Park. It was only a little park right behind the Kichijoji Theater. There was nothing there but a colorful slide for children and level benches. "Why do you us come here instead of being a Kashira Park?" Ryatsu asked. "A real otaku chooses the minority or the majority. Inakashira Park just had too many people. And on the weekend like today, it was swarming with people who weren't even locals. There were families, couples, middle-aged joggers, old couples with dogs, girls sitting on benches and reading to try to show off their subculture cred, street performers, roadside stalls, drunks wasted on 1 cup of Zeki in the middle of the day, kids running around screaming and more. There were so many people around that it was possible to sense the changes in sky sensor. But here in my home base of Kichijoji Park, it was always quiet. It was my secret hideout, you could say. There were usually nobody but us, so today was no exception. So there's this Japanese broadcast called A Message from the Andes. That's our target for today. Once I'd finished my Sudadon, I took out the sky sensor again and started to explain to Ryatsu how it worked. Well, today wasn't exactly the first time I tried. Ryatsu was the type of girl who just didn't listen. If you're able to listen to the broadcast, you can send them a listener's report, and I'll send you a super rare QSL card. QSL cards are way rarer than trading cards, you know? Honestly, at this time of day, we shouldn't be able to hear it. Don't talk with your mouth full. Ryatsu chewed her food for a while and then swallowed. "Who gave you the card?" "The radio station, obviously." "Can you pick up the radio from all the way from the Andes?" "Well, we're gonna try and find out." The winter sky was the color of twilight thinned with water. Compared to the noise around the station, the area was very quiet. Even Kichijoji turned into a quiet residential neighborhood once you get 10 minutes away from the station. I twiddled the sky sensor's dials and I stared vaguely at Ryatsu's heaving breasts. I listened to the sounds of meaningless white noise coming from the radio and meaningless songs that Ryatsu sang as she danced around. This might be my favorite part of the day. It was like this place wasn't real. Come to think of it, wasn't this where I'd first met Ryatsu? It was on a summer's day about 6 months ago. I'd been sitting on a bench alone, just like I was doing today. Then suddenly, without warning, she'd appeared on the side. "I'm your servant familiar, Gamatan!" And from that day on, Ryatsu was my servant familiar. She didn't do anything particularly familiarish. In fact, she didn't even help with Kirikiri Basara. No enemies came for her to fight off with her Poye gun. I still haven't quite figured out what happened with that strange meeting. The one thing I knew for sure was Ryatsu was cute. She was cute, and that was enough. Who cares about the rest of it? But since I'd remembered, I thought I might as well ask. I tried to make the question sound as natural as I could. Hey Ryatsu, the first time we met, did you fall from the sky? Shush! It happened without warning. Ryatsu put her finger up to her lips and looked at me sharply. What? Ryatsu slid down the slide and ran over to the bench I was sitting on. She knelt down right in front of the sky sensor and bench next to me and stared right into my Zonko strap. She was listening to the speaker, not staring at the strap. The expression on her face wasn't the usual dopey smile. She looked extremely serious. Ordered by our government to communicate to China and Soviet Union that our empire provisions of the joint declaration. I thought I could hear a voice of a man through that noise, speaking in a detached and passionate tone. I quickly grabbed the volume knob and turned it up. With my other hand, I readjusted the tuner at nanometer increments. Okay, not really. The voice gradually became clearer and more understandable. An ultimate collapse and obliteration of the Japanese nation led to the total extinction of human civilization. This is the Dual Voice Broadcast, Ryatsu said. It was the broadcast from Emperor Hirohito that brought into the last war Japan ever fought. But why? Ryatsu ignored me and suddenly stood up. Your radio is really amazing, Gawaton! I knew it! She smiled and left the park, leaving me behind. Amazing how? What did she mean by I knew it? And why did you just leave me here? The dual voice broadcast happened over 50 years ago. Why did my radio pick it up now? I sat there at the park for another half hour, completely confused. By the time I got home, the sun had set. The sun set early in winter. Spring was a long way off. Whoa! When I grabbed my doorknob to unlock the front door, I felt a sharp pain in my hand. More static electricity. Maybe it's because I got hit with a PIG today. I actually heard a crackling sound, so it must have been pretty bad. I hadn't known if my body just naturally built up electricity, but this happened a lot. It'd be cool if I could use it as some sort of electrical attack. Every kid wants to be able to shoot fire or electricity from their hands, and maybe I could use it to fight back against Ryatsu PIG. I grabbed the nod. It still stung a little, and opened the door. I'm home! I shouted at the empty room. Of course, there was no answer. I turned on the light switch and my mom wasn't there. She was probably still at work. Mom had gotten a job after Dad died. She was raising me all by herself. Sometimes during busy times, she would be gone when I got up in the morning and not get back up until late at night. I turned on the oil stove in the living room, shivering from the cold. I've been talking with Ryatsu so long that my body felt like it's frozen solid. It's so cold. I lived in the condo 3 minutes walk from the semi-street intersection. The red brick facade outside gave a clue to the building age. It was 35 years old. Of course, there was no floor heaters, air conditioner, or anything like that. I took my laptop out of the case and powered it on while I waited for the room to warm up. A laptop computer could just be as hot as your average pocket warmer after all. I suddenly remembered that Woodbury's place in Ryatsu had mentioned, and I decided to look it up. I'm particularly interested in how expensive it was. A small is 320 yen, a medium 390, and a double is 530 yen. That's even cheaper than Pseudodon. Of course, the great thing about Pseudodon is the absolutely crazy portion size. The name means stamina bowl after all. If it was this cheap, I could take Ryatsu there, no problem. She really seemed to want it after all. She was a rare 3D girl who actually hung out with me. I needed to treat her every once in a while. I wanted to make her happy, and I wanted to see her smile. If she was smiling at me, that made me happier than anything in the world. Wow, I'm thinking like a normie. That's disgusting. It's making my skin crawl, but I feel kind of grown up. I rubbed my arm and decided to check out the comments on Kirikiri Bazaar. As a site admin, I wanted to be able to look at it at least 5 times a day. On school days, I often didn't get the chance though. Alright, did I get more comments? Like always, I started checking the top comments on the most recent article. Sarai hasn't commented yet, huh? Slacker. I mumbled it to myself. I saw a comment from an IP address that I didn't recognize. Title: Check out the super sexy genius fortune teller with a 99% accurate rate. Live Nico URL. Did he say super sexy? It had nothing to do with the article, but I was still interested. Kiri Basar sometimes dealt with the light occult snuff like fortune telling, right? No, wait. Don't be fooled. How many times have you seen the word super sexy on the internet? She's just an amateur compared to an idol or an actress, let alone a 2D character. She probably isn't even that great. The bar for super sexy is really high. I had to be careful. And there was a good chance that the link might lead to something nasty. It could be just a spam link to a porn site too. Wait a second, isn't this a dress? It was a dress that I recognized. This was a link to a Nico livestream. Every neat knew about these. Hell, even people who weren't neat knew. Huh, it's suspicious. It's extremely suspicious. I feel like if I click on this, I'll be admitting defeat. But if she really was super sexy, that'd be a good article for Kiri Basara. What to do? Well, whatever. I've got an antivirus installed, a free one though. I decided to give it a click. Actually, I was really excited to discover where it led. Super sexy genius fortune teller, here I come. When I clicked the link, the familiar layout of a Nico livestream appeared on my screen. Let's see, what's the name? Muse Nico Live Fortune Telling. Was Muse the streamer's name? Oh, looks like it's about to start. The screen had just switched to a live camera. It was a dimly lit room with the back wall covered in a black curtain. A girl came into a frame from the left and sat down in a chair in front of a camera. The screen showed her from the chest up. She looked about to be my age, maybe. She was pretty cute. She was wearing a combination of a hoodie and a blazer. It made her look like a modern fortune teller. She smiled a little and waved at me. That is, at the camera. Some right, some wrong. Believe it'll be saved. Maybe not. She spoke in a high-pitched voice like an anime character. Her eyes narrowed on the other side of the screen, and then my heart skipped a beat as her voice became a hushed whisper. Show me your vision.